Hi everyone! In this week's episode I will be checking in on my progress on the Fantastitch shawl by Stephen West, the progress on my latest Amigurumi friend, and I've made a list of inspirations for knitted Fair Isle vests. Hey guys, and welcome! This is now episode 22 of Hanging On by a Thread podcast. My name is Sølje and I am, as always, coming to you from my partner studio downstairs in my own house, which is located somewhere in the region of Trøndelag in Norway. So today I'm gonna talk about the same thing as I talked about last week. As far as whips are concerned, I've only really worked on two projects, which is my Fantastitch shawl by Stephen West and a new Amigurumi that I hooked up with last week. But yeah, obviously we're going to have to talk about what I'm wearing, because what I'm wearing today I haven't really worn at all, and my hair is coming undone. Sorry, I am in such corona hair. I haven't been to the hairdresser in a long time, so there is no way to make this hair look good. So I tie it up. It's just long enough to put it up and back. So that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, what I'm wearing today is my Soldotna? Soldotna? I think it's an Italian name. But anyways, it's the Soldotna crop by Caitlin Hunter, aka Boylan Knitworks. I think by now everybody knows who she is. And yeah, it is that time of year where it's the only time of year that it makes sense to be wearing a short-sleeved DK weight, tightly knit pullover, although it's cropped, and it's just it's very warm. I absolutely love this colorway, but I have managed to knit it a bit tighter than I would have liked it to be. So that's what's keeping me from wearing it, because had I maybe sized up or knit at a looser gauge, which I prefer a fabric with a tight gauge. I think I've talked about this before as far as Caitlin Hunter's pattern is concerned. So it becomes very warm because it's actually close fitting. And if it had been a looser tee, I think I could get some more wear out of it. I do not want to rip out and redo, because I mean, I love how this yoke turned out. Look at this. So I knit this not last year, the year before. Yes. Oh, it's 3 years ago now. Time flies, you guys, time flies. So we were still like camped out in the attic at my parents' house before we moved in here. And that's when I got the yarn for this and knit it up. Spring. So it must have been spring 2018. It was a busy knitting year. That spring and summer, I had so much time to knit whatever I wanted. So it was the year of the garments. And yeah, so this I got, the yarn is amazing. Well, the yarn itself isn't anything special. It's a DK weight, superwash merino, I think. So it's a plump, it's very normal yarn, but the colorways are amazing. And it's done by Tweedy Todd, which is a Norwegian yarn dyer that no longer dyes, which I was extremely bummed to find that she's not dyeing anymore. She was always creating the most beautiful colorways, and I had intended to buy a lot more yarn from her, but I did manage to snag this kit for the Soldotna crop. So yeah, it was one skein of each of the colors, so obviously I have a lot left of the mint green, the pistachio green, and the pale pink, and not so much of the gold. It's like a green gold color. So don't you agree this is the most... I am so pleased with how this turned out, apart from the fit of the thing. I feel a bit... But it does fit, it's just fitted where I wanted it. Maybe centimeter or two of ease. I've ended up with no ease at all. But the yoke fits perfectly. And again, if I had looser gauge or gone for a size up, it wouldn't sit so tight around my neck as like I said last episode, I was wearing the Rocane, and that has quite a wide neckline, and I can feel already in this one that I'm like, ooh, this is warm. And isn't it strange to have like a snug neckline on a short sleeve design? Is that just me? Or is it like, that does not compute? But anyways, so there. I'm not giving this to anybody because I'm so pleased with it. But at the same time, I don't feel like I can get so much wear out of it. I need to like lose weight or something. Let's not go into that hole. Today, this half hour or so is about knitting and how much joy that brings us. So stay on track, Sølje, stay on track. Do I have anything more to say about this other than that it was a very enjoyable knit? I think this yoke is beautiful. I am super pleased with the color combo. I think it's unusual, but it really goes. I just love it. And let's see if this year I manage to use it a bit more, because I'm looking at that little screen thing on the camera. It looks really good. I think it does. I think it looks really good. So, yeah. Okay, let's be quick about this because I have a baby boy sleeping in the wagon. Finally, this is now late afternoon. My samboer partner has not made it home yet, so the kindergartner is still in kindergarten. But time is precious for calm and quiet. Yeah, that's like admin stuff. I was hoping to record earlier. I was hoping to record earlier in the morning, but my dad shows up and starts moving sand and gravel around on the front because he's making the patio for me, and I shouldn't really complain when I have, free labor coming to fix my house. So yeah, hopefully I'll share some status update on how the patio garden progress is doing, and I'll probably do that on my Instagram stories. Okay, first up, works in progress. I bet you're all dying to know how far I made it to my Fantastitch shawl. It's in the works in progress section, so obviously I have not finished it, but the rows are getting longer and longer, and I have now moved on to section 13, which is, I have decided to knit the large size. If I had wanted to knit the small size, I should have been starting with the final zigzaggy border section now, but I am knitting a further 2 repeats, I think. Let's see if I can show this time without losing all my stitches. So here we have on the pretty side the Fantastitch shawl. it has grown since last time. I think I actually managed to put a progress keeper so I could show you just how much it's grown. So in a week, here it is. In a week I've done this much. There you go. So I have done this seed stitch, seed stitch section. Dots, I think, slip stitch dots. Very hard to speak today. I think it's because I haven't spoken to anybody but a baby and, you know, hello, and offered coffee to my dad. Yeah. So I've done this much. Doesn't seem like much progress, but bear in mind, I'm now at 458 stitches per row. So, yeah. So after this green, I opted for gold contrast with the brown, white stripe, gold there, and then I'm back to the orange tabby in the twisted rib section, which I think is about 12 rows. Yeah, so I've got 4 more rows on that to go before I go into the next section. And as I said, as it's getting wider and wider, I do not know if I will be managing to finish this by next week, which I kind of have like this tiny little hope for next week being able to go, ta-da! Look at this amazing goodness of knitting, because it is starting to become something huge. So, for those of you who did not watch the last episode, and just for those of you who did, who just appreciate seeing the same thing over and over again, here it is. I'll do some panning. Look at that. All that texture goodness. And yeah. Not much more to say about it. I still am knitting with the same yarn, and it's all listed in the description below. And if you absolutely want me to say it out loud, you can watch the last episode again. I don't know. Yeah. As I said, it's the same thing. I spoke about 3 episodes in a row, so I'm trying to do other things. I have also started on Dirk the Dragon by Fantastitch Shawl is by Stephen West, of course. Yeah, if it needs mentioning again. The Amigurumi is Dirk the Dragon by, what's her name again? Well, artist name Lalilala. So it's lalilala.com. I will link, I didn't do it in the previous episode, but I'll link to the pattern again. For the first time again, down below. And I'll link to all the places where it's available. I think she has she's like on Ravelry and Etsy and Amigurumi.net and has her own website. So I think all those places you can find her patterns, for most of them anyways. So I, of course, ran out of the skin color, the beige yarn, and I have started on the hood section, which is basically the same as the head, and it's gonna fit snugly on top there. And I think I can get away with doing those final rounds on the head, maybe in the blue, because I think this is supposed to be fixed, a bit slanted, and this is just now the decrease is left, and it's not full decrease. I just think it's 2 or 3 rounds more to decrease. And I mean, it does make sense that a dragon maybe has like the blue of his skin going higher up here. Wouldn't be weird. So it would be something like that, and then the blue starting already here to go down. I think that will work. I have a few more rounds to go on the hood before I then start on the legs, 2 of them of course, and join and start making the body up, and I can plonk this on top. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. So it's funny to see the patterns, and I mean, not to be revealing too much, the different ways of decreasing to get, or increasing stitches in crochet. So on the head part, you have alternated each row to make sure that you're never increasing in the same line, which is how it's been done on the hood. Then you get this kind of star going out, which you don't get when they've alternated increases. I thought that was a nice difference. I don't know if that has a huge effect on how the shape is, but maybe this is like more even. And it's kind of a nice design detail for the hood as well, to have that star shape. I thought the baby was making a noise. So this is the Amigurumi. Not much to show yet. It's basically just 2 very similar shapes. This I'm doing in Scheepjes Cantona, and it's become my go-to yarn for Amigurumi. It's mercerized cotton. It's kind of a sturdy fingering weight, so it's somewhere in between. Yeah, it's a fingering sport weight. It's quite hard and makes a nice rigid and tight fabric. And being mercerized, it has a nice shine to it, and it doesn't like floof off and come undone like some cotton yarns do. Yeah, I'd probably not use it for garments or anything, but for Amigurumi, perfect. And it's basically my go-to yarn, because I have managed to buy a boatload of it, and I have one big box with all the colors. It's like a candy drawer. So this one is gonna get some details in gold and silver eventually. Let's see if that... Maybe I have some parts of the body to show off next time. Oh, I have a little baby that woke up. Yes, that was whipped up, and baby boy, I hope, is down for another 20 minutes, so I should get this moving. For this episode, I prepared a list of inspirational, aspirational stuff I want to knit. It's quite a long list of knitted feral vests, so hopefully my next new cast on, oh my goodness, there's so many things I want to cast on. How many times am I going to say this? Now I have a podcast schedule thing going on. I'm so much more aware of when I said, oh, the next thing I'm going to cast on is this. And then, of course, I've said it so many times now that the next thing is never the actual next thing. But sometime in the future, and a not too distant one, I hope, I will be casting on one of these lovely feral vests. So I've been collecting a list for, I've had like a collection going on both Instagram and also on Ravelry. When I find a pattern I like, I plonk it in there for safekeeping. And it's been some time now I've been doing this with vests. And as I discovered, of course, a vest with buttons on it is called a waistcoat. Yeah, so vests and waistcoats in feral. So let's begin, shall we? Get ready to make notes, or don't, because I've already made them down below, obviously. And and there's also a link to the list on Ravelry, which I have made available for everybody, even if you're not registered with an account on Ravelry. And I don't know yet if I'm going to bother making the list on the blog. Well, yeah, probably I will. Why not? So, let's see. So this list is obviously going to have some serious name dropping going on, because if you already like feral and you're watching this, you will know all these names. So the first two that I noted down in my notebook here is the Vo vest and the Vementry. Can't say things right. By Jane Mucklestone. So both of them are very like, well, the Vo isn't so classic, I feel. It has this like, well, as you can see, I'll slide a photo in here. And it has this lovely star pattern, which is quite bold on the sample. And these are, and then there's one, which I found it twice, the Vementry vest, but I also found it under the name of Feral vest. But they're both attributed to Jane Mucklestone, so I assume it's the same one. Even if they have two different, looks like exactly the same vest. But it's got that, say, EXO pattern going on, very classic feral. It's got the V-neck, so that's nice. And yeah, you can't go wrong with that, right? And the Vo also is a V-neck. And also one of the ones that have been on my knit list for the longest is the Bruntsfield by Soldotna. Same by her is, it also has very classic lines, and it's been done many times. So when you go into Ravelry and you can browse the projects, there are so many different color combinations already done, so you can go there and get inspired. Yeah, also by Soldotna is the Cruden, which I find, I mean, it's nice, but that the photo used in the pattern site isn't the best one. Like, I don't particularly enjoy those colors, so I wouldn't do it like that. It has a contrasting band at the bottom, and then a different ones around the arms and here, and it has this sort of, it's not a crew neck, it's not a V, it's, I don't know, it's got some, this kind of shape to it, which I think could be very flattering for a lot of people. So to keep in mind. And of course, color choices is totally up to yourself. Then another biggie in the feral knit world, of course, is Wilma Malcolmson. So I found the Seaweed Slipover, which is very lovely. I mean, look at that. It's, yeah, awesome. And then I've noted 3 from Susan Crawford. You can't have a list like this without mentioning her, right? This one came out not so long ago, actually. The Maggie. It's a vest. Well, that's a waistcoat, and it's slightly longer, so it's got... I'm looking for something like that, actually, just to throw on. Because I'm a little tired of the cropped ones, although I know that would be much quicker knit, which is very attractive as well. And then for a men's waistcoat, just because I wanted to show this because it has, compared to the other ones, they all have the classic bands across, right? But this, the Petrie from Susan Crawford as well, it has a different style of pattern. It has this more like vertical design and these giant diamonds and lines. So that I think could just be a very, very interesting knit. And you have that big geometric pattern with lots of contrast, and then you really playful color changes in the background, which I think is very nice. And what else? I feel like I'm rushing through this a little bit, so I'm sorry about that. It's just a bit stressful with the baby, and yeah. And what else? Oh yes, for more modern take on these things, I made a note of the Gräärup slipover by Camilla Wad, which is a Danish designer, and she has a bit, it's very nice, like it's plain on top here, and then it kind of has a fade thing going on. I don't know if it's probably bottom up. I didn't look too close to the pattern. This one is done with DK weight yarn though, so it should be quicker to knit. And it's got the X's and O's, which are very ferile, but they're done in this very minimalist Scandinavian way, especially since you're fading out the pattern up top, so it can be very toned down. So if the all over ferile everywhere pattern isn't for you, then this might be like a segue into the whole feral thing. And you're all only ever holding 2 colors, isn't it? But that's the same with the other feral knits. And yeah, I also want to do shout out the newly published pattern by Skinder Knits, the Academic. I thought it was a very clever idea to use those traditional Selbu bands for a feral vest. So it's really like a nice merge between the very, I find it's a very British garment, the slipover, the vest as such. And since she lives in the UK, it's a nice combination of the inspirations of like the homeland, the mother region in Norway, and marrying that to a very typical British garment, in my eyes anyways. So I think there could be some very lovely versions of that vest. I'm not sure which one I would go for. Some days it's like I want to make all of them. Right now I am really ogling the Petrie just because that geometric pattern is stunning and just a bit different from what you usually see. I know it's a classic like feral motif, I guess, that kind of vertical lines. It's not been used that much, and it would be really striking, I think. If you go to the list on Ravelry, there's many more patterns than the ones I listed right now. So I really hope that this will inspire you to just go a bit crazy and maybe swatch some colors, and I would love to see some more feral vests coming up in my feed on the hashtag feral vest. There are so many cool stuff on that coming from Japan. So the Japanese, they're doing feral, and wow, the color combinations, and just, oh, you could get lost in it. So I really recommend you deep dive into your Instagram feed on that. And you know, if you happen to click on a post that's in Japanese, just I randomly click the hashtags that I don't understand, because I don't know, maybe that's like a very cool hashtag to follow. So I'll click on it and make sure I see what's in there. Yeah, I think that's what I had for today. I'm sorry if it was a bit quick. I don't know how much. Needless to say, I want to knit all the vests and all of it. Oh. Researching for this did not make it easier to choose, I have to say, but I want to try to find one that is not such a tight gauge. So like, don't want to have a 32 stitches per 10 centimeter. I'm hoping for a 26, 28. That's doable. That should be pretty fast. Or if I feel like that's not quick enough. And what to wear it with? This is typical me. I don't know if it's something I would actually enjoy wearing. I have nothing like it in my wardrobe. And I don't think I have many things to even combine it with. It's just, I just enjoy knitting it. And do I need it? Maybe. I don't know yet. But I feel like I need to knit one. Yeah. Oh. I should make an effort to wear more old-fashioned. It's not even old-fashioned, is it? It's just, I need to adapt my style so that I can actually wear the stuff I like to knit. Because at the moment, it's not so easy. I end up, yeah. Do I need to make stuff that I can actually wear in the office when the office is back open and I need to start going in? Any ideas, guys, how to combine those two worlds? Maybe I should go for this sort of academic style. No, not that vintagey. We'll have to figure this one out. I'll have to chew on that. It's difficult when I really enjoy knitting vintage style knitwear, but I don't particularly enjoy wearing it. Does that make sense to you? Anyways, I want to knit all the vests. Go figure. That's it for this week, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, give it a like, leave a comment below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The stuff that I mentioned should be linked to in the description box below, and I will also have written a blog post about it at my blog, which is biothreadblog.com. And yeah, that's about it. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm really only active 2 places, which active is putting it... yeah, well, Instagram and Ravelry. The handle is the same in both places. It's Silmois. So you can look me up there if you want to add me as a friend or follow me or whatever. So, yep. Thank you for being here, and I hope to see you next week as well. Bye!